Hey you, do you love saving money? Today, we're gonna show you how to save hundreds of dollars per year by showing you guys a quick, easy wash, clay, and wax. Let's get started. Joey Sanchez here, reporting live. That's all dirt and grime that's made its way into the pores of a clear coat. Back to you, Scott. What is a wash clay wax, you may ask? A wash clay wax is probably the easiest and simplest thing you can do on your own vehicle. It involves washing your car, cleaning it, and waxing it. That's it. All the detailers out there can charge you hundreds of dollars just to do this on your own vehicle, but today, as mentioned, I'm gonna show you how to do it. That way you have the confidence to do it on your own car and save you hundreds of dollars in the process. To kick off this wash, first we're gonna start off by cleaning the wheels to get that out the way. To clean the wheels, we're gonna be using our Wheelie flag tip brush paired with our Diablo wheel and tire cleaner, which is an excellent product to go ahead and clean the wheels and tires from embedded dirt, grime, and brake dust. So we're gonna go ahead and start off by rinsing off the wheel, spraying the cleaner, scrubbing, rinsing it off, and our job is done. Spray, spray, spray. You can spray some onto the bristles of your brush for an added clean. And the product actually starts to foam up once you start scrubbing it with your favorite wheel cleaner brush, as you can see, giving you a deep lather, exfoliating any kind of embedded dirt and grime for the ultimate clean. All right guys, so now that we're done cleaning the wheels, now I can proceed with the wash. So I have all my wash accessories, including my buckets, my dirt traps, my soaps, my wash mitt, and my foam blaster, which are all gonna help me get the results that I'm looking for. Right here I have Mr. Pink, which is a super sudsing car wash shampoo. And on the other hand here, I have our Clean Slate surface cleanser. Now, both of these soaps I'm gonna be using to wash this vehicle with. One, because I want the great foam and suds that comes with Mr. Pink. And I also want that deep cleansing properties of Clean Slate. Now, Clean Slate is actually a surface stripper, so this is gonna remove any kind of embedded waxes, glazes, and sealants sitting on the paint. That way, when we apply our fresh coat of wax, it bonds properly. So with that being said, we're gonna put these to the side. We're gonna quickly set up our 2-bucket method. So I'm gonna grab my wash mitt, and right here I have my 2 dirt traps. These are filters that sit at the bottom of your bucket. These are designed to filter out any kind of abrasive particles like dirt, grime, and anything in between from your wash water. That way you're not picking that stuff back up and grinding it back into your paintwork. So we're gonna go ahead and simply insert these at an angle. Make sure that when you insert them, have the bucket already filled with water. Insert them at an angle, and then set them down flat towards the bottom. And that's it. That's all you have to do, nothing more. So now we're gonna go ahead and set up our foam blaster. Now this foam blaster actually connects direct to your garden hose. So you can go ahead and just take off the top. I've already pre-filled it with some water, but I'll show you guys what the dilution ratio, whoa, 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 you guys see that? All right, so now we're gonna grab our bottle of Mr. Pink here, and we're gonna add about 2 ounces of Mr. Pink. So we're gonna go 1 and 2 good squirts. And then we're gonna grab our bottle of Clean Slate surface wash, and we're gonna add about 1 ounce of this into the mix. Cool. All right, guys, so now all we have to do is simply attach the foam blaster nozzle back into the bottle. And we're basically all ready to foam. But before I do that, I'm just gonna go ahead and add about 1 ounce to my wash bucket here. I'm gonna dedicate the one that has the black dirt trap as the wash bucket. So we're gonna add about 1 ounce of soap in there. And we're simply just gonna activate the suds and dunk in our wash mitt to pre-saturate. All right, so with that all being done, now we're gonna go ahead and proceed with the wash. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna pre-rinse the vehicle to knock off as much loose dirt, grime, and debris. We're gonna foam it and then wipe it down with our wash mitt. We're gonna rinse it, dry it, and then we're gonna move on to the clay bar. So we're gonna connect our foam blaster, we're gonna get a nice layer of suds on the vehicle, and we're gonna start wiping it down safely. Woo! Look at those suds. All right guys, so now that we're all done foaming, now we're gonna reach into our bucket. We're gonna grab our wash mitt. As you can see, it's nice and sudsed up. We're gonna grab some extra suds for some added lubrication and cleaning power from the top right here. And now we're gonna go and start wiping down the surface of the car. Now, whenever it comes to wiping your car, always work in straight lines. Never do any kind of circular motions, because if you get anything caught on your wash mitt and you start doing that circular motion, that's how you end up with those swirl marks on your paint. So don't do that. Always straight lines, no matter if it's the paint, the glass, or anywhere in between. Always straight lines to ensure that you're not scratching up the paint. All right, guys, so we got the vehicle all cleaned up. Now we have it inside. Now it's time for us to continue with the decontamination. So right here, I'm gonna grab my bottle of clay luber and a medium duty clay bar. Now, in order to use the clay bar, what you wanna do first is take it out of the packaging. And what you'll notice is it comes wrapped in these 2 plastic sleeves. So what you're gonna do first is take those sleeves off. Take the sleeves off, and then you're gonna go ahead and cut yourself off a small chunk. You're not gonna use the entire thing, just because if it falls on the floor, you gotta replace it. So we're gonna go ahead and take off the plastic sheets, and we're gonna go ahead and cut this clay bar in half. Ooh. All right, so I'm gonna actually grab the bigger half and put it back to the packaging because we actually don't need much to begin with. We're gonna wrap that back in the plastic sheets and put it back in the packaging for a later use. So now that we have our clay bar here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna knead it into a small little patty that we can kind of grab with our 4 fingers. That way it makes it easier for us to glide onto the surface. Try to get a decent chunk, try not to make it too small or too big. So we got our patty, we have our clay luber. Now what you wanna do is inspect the surface. Now, upon washing your vehicle, if you dry it and then you feel the paint and it sounds kind of rough like this, it almost kind of sounds like sandpaper. That's why you're using the clay bar to begin with. The clay bar itself, it's clean, it's untouched, it's brand new. We're gonna go ahead and clay just part of the hood, and you'll see just how much embedded contamination there really is on the paintwork. So we're gonna grab our bottle of clay luber, we're gonna go ahead and spray it up, and make sure that you are, spraying enough lubrication, that way you don't get any kind of marring, and then you're simply just gonna go ahead and glide the clay bar left and right. Now, once you start clay barring, you might feel the paint kind of rough, and it also may feel like you're kind of scratching the paint. Don't worry, guys, you're not scratching the paint. All of that stuff is embedded contamination that the clay bar is removing from the pores of the paintwork. So just make sure that you keep the surface well lubricated and glide left and right, up and down, never in any kind of circular motions. And also don't apply any kind of excess pressure. So if you find yourself, claying and you're over here like doing this right here, stop and just let the weight of your hand do the claying for you. All right, guys, so I just finished claying, not even the whole hood. And keep in mind, this is not even a full-size hood. This is like a tiny little hood. We've only done about half of it, and I want to show you guys the clay bar right here. So as you guys can see, I'll bring it up close to you guys. You guys saw what that clay bar looked like before. Check it out now. All that brown stuff, all that gunk, that's all embedded contamination. That's all dirt and grime that's made its way into the pores of your clear coat, and now you've extracted it. So that's all that in your paintwork. So as you can imagine, you wash your car, it looked clean. Just imagine how much cleaner and smoother it can be by using the clay bar. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna go ahead and continue claying the rest of the vehicle. And the cool thing about the clay is that you can do the paint, you can do the glass, you can do the chrome, anything that's smooth and glossy, clay it up. And if you drop your clay, replace it and keep going. All right, guys, so we just did a little test spot right here on the roof just to kind of show you guys a visual representation of what a contaminated side looks like versus decontaminated. So just from this little small section, you can see the clay bar right here. We picked up all this embedded contamination. As you guys saw, I already re-kneaded it so you can see some of the contamination on this side. At the beginning of the video, I said that one small chunk of clay bar should be enough, but I'm now finding myself thinking that we actually might need to use the entire clay bar just because this car is really that bad. But besides that, we're just gonna go ahead and put that to the side. We're gonna grab our microfiber towel, and we're gonna wipe off the residue of the clay luber. And I'm gonna go ahead and take off the tape right now very shortly. That way you guys can see what a contaminated versus decontaminated side looks like in terms of just like the overall look of the paint. So one thing you'll notice is the small little specks, especially like on a white car. Joey Sanchez here, reporting live from the Chemical Guys headquarters, showing you guys what a contaminated side versus decontaminated sounds like. Sounds like. So as you can see, we're gonna go ahead and touch this side right here. You should not be able to hear a thing. Check this out. Versus, if we go to the contaminated side right here, it'll sound like sandpaper. Sandpaper, decontaminated. Back to you, Scott. All right, guys, so now that we are completely done clay barring the entire vehicle, now we can start applying our protection and shine with butter wet wax. Now, butter wet wax, honestly, I would say is probably the easiest thing to use out of all the products that we've used so far today, including the wash and the clay, because butter wax is just apply a couple drops, work it in, wipe it off, that's it. I'm not gonna overcomplicate it, just look at how easy this is. Get your bottle of butter wet wax, give it a nice little shake, and then once you're ready, now that you're ready, grab the bottle, open up the spout, and apply a couple drops onto your microfiber applicator. In this case, we're gonna go ahead and start off with about 4 to 5. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Just like that. And then just go ahead and simply blot it out onto the surface. And then what you're gonna do is just start working it in left to right. So left to right, easy does it. One thing to keep in mind is you are gonna be applying this wax as evenly as possible. So once you start applying it, don't just stick in the same area. Apply it to the general area that you start off in, and then come back and stretch it. So I don't know if you guys can tell, but right here, along this border, there's like some wax right there, pretty visible. So what you can do from here is grab that wax and stretch it even further. Now the cool thing about this wax is that it's called butter wet wax. So it just melts into your paintwork. So you don't need a lot to begin with. If you have like a super heavy haze, then just go back over it. That way you can spread out the product, because odds are, if you see a heavy haze, you applied way too much. In this case, it is the color white, so it is a little bit difficult to see. But what I would recommend doing is just go over it multiple times. So just go up, down, left, and right until you have a nice even pattern. And then one thing to keep in mind is this big old chunk of plastic right here. You do not want to apply the wax onto the plastic. Always try to stay away from it. So if you want to, you can mask it off with some tape, or you could just be a pro and just kind of pinch your applicator with your thumb. That way you don't overlap onto the plastic piece. And that's about it, guys. It's just a matter of applying left, right, up, and down as evenly as possible. And then what you want to do is once you're done applying the wax, you're going to want to go ahead and let that sit for about, at minimum, 30 seconds up to 5 to 10 minutes. Honestly, the wax, it's not like ceramic, so like it's not going to harden on the paintwork. So you can actually apply it if you are doing it in a controlled environment like we are right here. We've got AC, we're in a garage. Honestly, you can let the wax sit for about 10, 15, even 20 minutes, but honestly, there's really no added benefit for that. So just apply it. Once it flashes, just wipe it off with a microfiber towel. So in this case, what I would recommend doing, and I'll show you guys an example right here on the window. So what you can do is when you're applying a wax, you can apply the coat of wax. And one pro tip for you guys is whenever you apply a wax, you want to fully wait until it's dry. So if I get my finger, I don't know if you guys, cameraman, punch in right here, but if you wipe your finger through it and you see that the wax still kind of smears around, that's just letting you know that the wax is not fully dry yet. But if you wipe your finger through it and it completely wipes off, then you know it's good to wipe off. All right, so after the wax has been sitting for about 2 minutes, now we're gonna grab a professional microfiber towel and we're simply just gonna wipe off the coat of wax. So as you can see, the wax wipes right off like nothing. But if you do have trouble wiping off the wax, it can mean one of two things. Either A, you applied too much of it, or B, you didn't let it sit long enough. So just let it sit long enough, and if you did apply too much, just go over it with the microfiber towel a couple times, and it should all come right off. All right, guys, and just like that, we're all done wash, clean, and waxing this entire vehicle. As you guys saw, it was quick, it was effortless, and anyone can learn to do this and do it by themselves. You don't have to pay a detailer hundreds of dollars to get this done on your own vehicle. You can pick up all these products here today on our website at chemicalguys.com. As always, my name is Joey. This is Chemical Guys. We'll see you next time.